Hello and welcome to Group First TV. We're here today interviewing John McGlynn, who is responsible for Park First Glasgow. So John, leading travel publisher Rough Guides dubbed Glasgow one of the top tourist destinations on the planet for 2014, alongside places like Rio. What does this mean for the tourism for the city?
Well, Jane, for those of us from Glasgow, it's no great surprise. I mean, let's be honest, it rhymes very nice. New York, Rio, Glasgow.
Absolutely.
But to be honest, Glasgow does have a huge tourist offering. Loch Lomond's on the doorsteps, you've got Edinburgh Castle along the road, I mean, there's a golf industry. On a serious note, Glasgow is a great tourist destination, but to have the Rough Guides stamp of approval for 2014 Commonwealth Games and Ryder Cup year is fantastic.
Excellent. Glasgow Airport got the year off to a fantastic start with more than 436,000 passengers in January and almost 450,000 in February. That's an increase on 2013. Can you give us an insight as to why this might be?
I think this is part of the airport's long-term plan, Jane, to get more airlines coming to Glasgow with new routes and to get more frequency on existing routes. So to give you a couple of examples, if you look at EasyJet and Jet2, there's more capacity on winter flights, and that means more people can jet off and get some winter sun.
How has this affected the parking situation at the airport?
Well, it's been a very good start to 2014 because what you find is more flights, more passengers, more people want long stay parking. Sounds easy, but actually it makes a lot of sense. And this year we found that we filled up a month earlier than in previous years, so It's been a good start to the year.
We saw a 4% rise in domestic traffic in January and 2% in February, especially flights to London and regional services. How do you explain this?
I think this is down to people's general desire to travel, Jane. You know, there's lots of people who want a direct flight to winter sun, but there's more people travelling to more exotic locations. And to see a rise going to Heathrow, which is still the world's busiest airport, is no great surprise. People will go Glasgow, Heathrow, and then Heathrow the rest of the world. So any increase in aviation, you'll see a mix between direct flights to winter sun and those people connecting through Heathrow, Charles de Gaulle, Schiphol. So it's exactly in line with what you would expect when you see more passengers and more flights.
This month, Glasgow will become the first Scottish airport to welcome the A380, the world's largest passenger aircraft. What can you tell us about this?
Well, you know, this is going to be a spectacular event because it just shows the confidence that Emirates have in Glasgow Airport. Emirates have gone from single flight to double daily on a 777. That's a lot of passengers every single day going to Dubai and then connecting to the rest of the world. To have the A380 coming into Glasgow was a really iconic experience that thousands of people turned out for, and many of them parked with us to come and experience that, which was fun. But I think we're all hopeful at Glasgow that the A380 is going to become a regular visitor to Glasgow. The route is doing incredibly well, and apart from a third flight daily, which I don't think anyone thinks will actually happen, what's more likely is that one or both of these routes at some point will become an A380 route, and that'll be fantastic.
What's in store for Glasgow Airport in the run-up to the summer months? Are there big events in the calendar?
Well, I think for Glasgow Airport, it's really about the focus on more routes and more flights. So one of the big ones for this summer is US Airways doing more flights to Philadelphia. They're increasing the capacity a lot. These are big planes, so that means more passengers, more people who want to park.
The next question is quite a mouthful, John, so maybe you'll be able to explain it to me.
No problem.
February saw Glasgow Airport become the first in the UK to receive the Airport Council's International Airport Service Quality Assured certification. What does this mean?
Well, let's start off with who these people are. The Council is really the global trade body for airports, kind of like a Chamber of Commerce or something like that. So these guys are the global body. So to get any award from that body is a real high achievement, and for Glasgow to get the first one is fabulous. And what they're actually giving a seal of approval on is the management of the services and the facilities. And really that's what it boils down to. What passengers want when they're travelling is great facilities and really well managed facilities. And to have that endorsement from the Council is great news for Glasgow Airport, Jane.
It's really putting Glasgow on the map, isn't it?
Yeah, and I think, to be honest, it's there alongside New York and Rio again, and, as it should be. And when you see the time clocks on the walls of international offices, it's going to have Glasgow on it soon. It's going to be there.
British Airways and Flybe both added capacity to Glasgow's airport last year. What does this say about major airlines' confidence in the city?
Call me old-fashioned, Jane, but I'm a great believer that actions speak louder than words. When you've got airlines like BA, Flybe, US Airlines and others putting on new routes from Glasgow, that has to be absolute sign of confidence because airlines have got choices globally. They can operate anywhere in the world. And when they put new routes on, that's a great sign of confidence for any airport. So we're delighted to see these new routes happening, and there's lots of them for 2014.
An enormous 7.4 million passengers passed through Glasgow's airport last year. What changes did we see in terms of airport parking over the course of 12 months?
Well, Jane, what you have is a direct correlation between passenger numbers at the airport and people looking for long stay parking. Makes sense, and that's the way it tends to work. What we found in Q1 of this year is that we filled up a month earlier than we did last year, and I think that bears resemblance with the airport's figures being up, and that's the explanation that we have for that.
Well, 7.4 million passengers. It's a lot of passengers.
It's a lot of passengers, and Glasgow Airport's an airport which is continuing to get new routes, and airports need new routes. They need more frequency on routes, and we just have good news story after good news story so far, so long may that continue. This
is Glasgow's Calgary Airport's third consecutive year of growth. How do you think it will perform in the next 5 years?
Well, Jane, I'm a great believer in to predict the future, you should look at the past. Every 10 years, airports produce something called their surface access strategy and their master plan, and that sets out their vision for 10 years forward. Now, I must admit, when I started in business 20 years ago and I looked at that master plan, I thought, by jings, that's very ambitious and this must be some aspirational target. And every time the airports do this, they tend to beat those targets. So to see them growing year upon year upon year is indicative of them achieving that 10-year plan. They've done it for the last 30 years. There's no sign that they won't achieve it this time. And the new routes, more passengers, it's looking good.
So what will this mean to the Scottish parking industry?
We really need to get back to fundamentals, Jane, on this. More passengers through the airport means more people requiring long-term parking. And that's the direct correlation that we've seen for 30 years. And if you look at the trends and the statistics, that's where the growth comes from. Passengers, more direct flights, more people requiring parking. Glasgow's doing a great job.
Well, John, 2014 seems like it's going to be a great year. From rough guides to Rio, from the Emirates A380, is there anything else that you think could really put Glasgow Airport on the map?
To be honest, 2014 is Glasgow's year. Commonwealth Games, Ryder Cup, new Emirates Lounge opening, hopefully more A380. I mean, let's be honest, the only thing that the management team at Glasgow could do that they haven't done so far is phone Richard Branson and get some of his space flights coming from Glasgow. Let's make the call.
Thank you very much, John.
Pleasure.
Thank you.